next meeting. We'll go ahead and get started.
You're good to go.
Good to go. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. How's everybody doing? Good to see everybody here. The Administration and Finance Committee meeting for Tuesday, July 21st is called to order at 6:59 p.m. We've already had moment of silent meditation. We've already had Pledge of Allegiance. Madam Clerk, may I please have roll call?
Roll call. Chairperson Nickerson.
Here.
Vice Chair Roman.
Here.
And, or the, I'm not sure. Member Urbom.
Here.
Also present for the record, Janice Jacoby, Village Clerk, Sheath Magnuson, Interim Attorney Powell, and Councilperson Perella and Mayor Cubillos are still on.
Mr. Attorney, since this is a new meeting, do you have to read that again?
I just took a quick look at the attendees and everyone is exactly the same. So I'm reading for since I just read it less than 20 minutes ago.
It sounds good. I just know that, you know, somebody watches this meeting, it's different from the last meeting. So it's kind of like they'll be seeing it for the first time. But just as long as they know that we did it.
Yeah, I can read it back into the record.
As long as we're good, I just want to make sure we're good.
We're fine.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much, Mr. Attorney. May I have approval of the agenda? You guys, this is the time right here if you want to add, delete anything that you see on the agenda. And also, Councilperson Roman, I wanted to know if you wanted to do a public affairs update, or are you okay for this time? You're good? Okay. Do I have approval of the agenda? Any additions, deletions, or as is, motion to approve?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Have a motion by Councilperson Urbom. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you very much. Have a second by Councilperson Roman. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Hearing no nays. Approval of the minutes. You guys, I haven't had a chance to read the minutes. You guys know I usually do, but I just didn't get a chance to go over the minutes this time. I actually went over like the first couple pages, but I didn't get a chance to finish them. Did anybody get a chance to finish them? And do they feel comfortable with approving the minutes? If not, we can move them to the next committee meeting, because I'll probably end up reading them as soon as we're done here tonight.
I thought the minutes were fine, so I'm fine with moving to approve them. I'm just wondering what happens when we don't pass the minutes. Are they ever going to come back? Because last meeting we didn't pass them, and the meeting before that we didn't pass them, and we haven't seen them. So I'm just wondering.
Yeah, Madam Clerk, so the minutes that we moved to future meetings, because they were the mistakes or the name mistakes that were in those, how long does it usually take, or what's the process in that with Full Moon, or do you correct it yourself, or how does that happen, Madam Clerk? I have no idea. Madam Clerk? We'll get that answer, and we'll get the clerk to email that out to the council, because I think that's a good question. That's something for all of us need to know, how we go about that process. Thank you very much, Councilperson. Appreciate it. Good and welfare, you got. Well, this will do. Motion to approve the minutes. Councilperson Roman made a motion. Do I have a second for that motion to approve the minutes?
I second.
I have a motion, I have a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Good and welfare, this is the time right here where anybody in the audience, you guys can come up and talk about anything on this particular agenda right here, anything on this particular agenda for the Administration and Finance Committee meeting. Do I see anybody's hands? Hold on one second. I don't see anybody's hands. So there's no good in welfare. We're gonna move right to the agenda item. So the first agenda item, you guys, is the manager pay adjustment. We've been speaking about this for a while in committee. did everybody get a chance to go over the evaluation that she emailed out to us a while? It was a while ago.
Yes.
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 First, I'm going to ask, do you guys have any comments about the evaluation? Now, let me just say this for clarification. If this does pass through the committee tonight, it's not like if it passes through the committee that tomorrow she gets, whatever we decide. This does have to go to full council, everybody. So this still has to go to full council to where then Councilperson Perrella, Mayor Cabillos will be having their input into it also. But here on the committee level, was there any, I'll open it up to you guys first, were there any questions or comments or anything that you have to say about the evaluation first? We'll go through the evaluation. Discuss that first. Any questions for the manager? Any questions about the evaluation itself? Any comments?
Yeah. So just a couple of questions. In terms of resources needed, I'd be happy to give you the floor for a minute to talk about some of those specifics of the resources that you're looking for.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes. We hear you.
See you.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, my computer turned off. Where are you guys now?
Okay. All right. Councilperson Urban, the village needs resources for all kinds of things, but I'm thinking of things that we need just to encourage and advance, our staff so that they are able to do more. We do have a staff that is one-person departments. And so everyone's responsible for that department, but also responsible to report what's happening in those departments. It would be nice to just be able to do more to enrich the department so that they are a lot more functioning. And I know, like, you're a chair of a committee of code enforcement, so you're very involved, but just that the actual person who works in that department should have a little more support. So I would like to be able to give more so that they can be elevated more, and then we can probably get a better, just better morale, a nicer work environment. I mean, I've done a lot in terms of changing the work environment in the village, elevating the professionalism, also just the overall look and cleanliness of the office even before COVID. But there's always ways to kind of just reinvest in the village staff. And I think that would be really helpful. And I'm, committed to improving that, serving more as a mentor, and just being more of a just role model and serving in that way as well, to, provide more opportunity for the staff.
Is that it, Councilperson Urban? That's your question? You good? Councilperson Roman? Good. Good. All right. Madam Manager, I appreciate the evaluation. This has been a long time coming, especially in committee, on the committee level. I was going through all the evaluation. I see you gave yourself a number 4 under number 2. You gave yourself a number 4 for anticipates and analyzes problems. Why do you feel like, why did you give yourself a 4 for that?
Well, because when I started with the village 2.5 years ago, I came in, 11 days later was a hurricane, and there was a lot of missing, a lot of gaps in just our deliverables to county and state, and just providing reports and those kinds of things. So I've gotten us up to where we need to be. And I'm, keeping a good watch over the clock and the time. I feel like I would like to do more in terms of getting out of that, like well, we're not reactionary. We're we're ahead of the game in that way, but I'd like to do more in planning and preparing the village itself, like the administration, in ways that could be like strategic planning or something. So that's why I would like to do a bit more, and I gave myself a 4 for that. But again, that comes with a little more resources, time too, and just those are things I can see that can be improved.
Yeah, I saw with the whole the same question that Councilperson Erbaum had with the resources. I felt like when I saw that, I kind of like put a circle around the word resources, and then right next to it, I put a couple dollar signs because I was like, that kind of like, it's a lot of different things, but money always would help. That's something that here in El Portal we always
and even yeah, and sometimes resources are opportunity. I mean, there are other, there are creative ways to do it. But yeah, money is always needed. We need it in all areas in the administration, but there are resources that we do need.
I saw you also gave yourself a number 4 for under number 3, where it says set meeting agendas. The only reason why when I saw it, I said, I think she might be giving herself a number 4 because she doesn't actually do agendas. So
right.
It's not your fault though. Like you're punishing yourself for something that it's not you don't do the agendas for the.
Well, that's true, and maybe I should change that and amend it for the full council before next Tuesday. But you're right, and I did that because I was like, well, I don't set agendas, and
Yeah.
I'll change it.
Under supervision, this is not really about the actual evaluation, but I was just thinking, so under supervision, the 4th one down where it says sustains and improves staff performance by evaluating the performance, you don't really have many staff members. I mean, how many staff members do you have there that have been there for a year for annual evaluation? You don't have it. I'm thinking about it. You don't have it.
I have one person right now, and that's our chief of police.
Yeah, it's only one.
So he's due for an evaluation. But what I can say is that I have done them in the past. I've had 2 turnovers for my administrative staff in these 2.5 years. One was because I was new and coming in, and things change when you have a new administrator. And then the second one came due to a major labor issue that caused a lot of problems internally, including hostile work environment. So those 2 turnovers, precludes us from doing evaluations. But I did do one for former code enforcement officer Carlos Garcia.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was looking at that. I was like, I was thinking about who's currently on your staff, and I was like, nobody's been there except for the chief. The one and only chief. Nobody else has been there. When I was thinking about everybody who's on staff, nobody else has been there for a year for you to be able to do an annual evaluation. Those are all my questions. I'll turn it on over to the audience right now. I'll call anybody in from the audience, and I'll go back to the committee, and then from there, we'll go from there. So is there anybody right now from the audience who has any questions for the manager about the evaluation or anything like that? Seeing no hands from the audience. Going back to the committee. All right, so this is what I personally think, my fellow committee members. I think that because when we were talking about this, we were talking about her performance and the percentage that she should get for her, based on her performance and based on, that she should have been getting a raise over time that she hasn't gotten yet, correct? How long has it been? Because you're due to get a raise is annually, correct?
According to my employment contract, it would be considered at the anniversary. So I've missed 2 anniversaries.
It's 2 anniversaries. The percentage committee members, I think, is a larger discussion. Well, this is what I think. This would be my advice. My advice would be to push the mayor pay adjustment agenda item out of committee to the full council, because it still has to go to the full council. In between that time, Councilperson Perrella and Mayor Cubillos will also get the evaluation. Then at the full council meeting, we have the discussion about the percentage. That would be my suggestion, instead of doing it right now between the 3 of us, because for the percentage, I think that Councilperson Perrella and the mayor should have their input in that with seeing the evaluation anyway. That would be my suggestion, just to move it out of committee to full council. Committee members, what do you say to that?
If I could.
Councilperson Urban, floor is yours.
So, the evaluation is not necessarily the issue. At a certain level, I almost feel like it would be irresponsible to push this through until we have a clear path on an incredibly stressed budget. So it's because there's still negotiation that needs to happen in terms of according to the contract, right? Like the contract should really be the driver here. So if we have clear language in the contract, then we should follow that if we can. But I'm sure you're all aware that we're experiencing a similar issue with collective bargaining and the PBA, and almost the exact, it's the same matter throughout all of these discussions that we're having. And that is, what is the condition of the budget to be able to facilitate this? And so shortly here we'll be in the budget workshop, and we'll be talking about these things a little more in depth. But for me, the performance is not necessarily what's at issue here, as opposed to the feasibility of us to be able to make good on what we're saying. Now, going back again to what does the contract tell us we must do? And if it's a matter of, so I guess that's my single biggest question to determine whether or not I feel that we should advance this or not, might be for the attorney in terms of what are we being directed to do by the agreement that we have in place with our manager.
Well, it's a binding agreement. And like most agreements, just because you don't necessarily comply with each of the provisions, it's not overall voided. So as I believe I just heard that there's been 2 cycles of missed evaluations and adjustments. I guess that's what we're all you all are in the process of doing. It doesn't stop the parties from also entering into a different or new agreement down the road. So those are all options that you can explore. I mean, is that answering your question?
Yes, the last remaining question then is, we are still negotiating what percentage of a raise it is, and that because that is determined largely on the evaluations in terms of, is it
right, the percentage is open-ended. That's
right.
That's
and that's where the evaluations come into play. Is that about right?
Right, but,
okay.
But per the contract, there is an adjustment that's contemplated under the agreement.
Okay.
Yes. Councilperson Urban, is you good? All right, thank you. Before we move on, so my thing is, all right, so a couple of things. So first of all, I think that, I hear you, Councilperson Urban, loud and clear. I think that we need to, and it kind of makes me think about like Pannoni, right? Like how Pannoni had the contract and Pannoni didn't live up to their end of the contract, right? So that's the first thing. I think that, as a village, that we should at least push it out of committee for the discussion at full council to live up to our side of the contract that we have with the manager. The second thing is that I really do believe strongly that Councilperson Perrella and that Mayor Cubillo should have their voice heard in this matter. If nothing else, this is the way I feel. If nothing else, because you guys, even though this is within Administration and Finance Committee, the manager is a chartered officer, which means that if she was going to get fired, she would get fired by the entire council. For her to be hired, it would be the entire council. So I think the entire council it shouldn't be stuck in committee. I think the entire council should be the one to talk about if she should get a raise. If the entire council feels that she should not get a raise, then I think that should die in council. It can die in full council. But I think the full council should have the opportunity for her being a charter officer that, because this has been a committee for so long, everything we've asked her to do on the committee level, she's done. The evaluation, like she always has a manager reports and all this type of stuff. So I think that it's just, it no longer belongs in committee. It's past this level. She's a charter officer. I think it should be taken to full council. And then if it dies in full council, by all means. But I think it's past the committee level. That's my personal opinion. Councilperson Ervin, I see you on mute. Go ahead.
Yeah, very good. I do definitely see your point, and I definitely believe that whatever is required, and then even beyond that, whatever would be fair, is certainly what we should be doing. And so again, I go back to saying that for me, this is not a discussion exactly about performance. It is a discussion about the budget. And so I feel like this committee probably needs to have some incredibly difficult discussions about these things that come up. And so by no means am I suggesting that we do something that's counter to the agreement that we have in place. And I do agree with your points that that the full council should hear this. I'm somewhat frustrated that all 5 members would not be on this committee, honestly. Our village is so small that it's almost, all 5 members should almost be on every committee. But having said that, I take your point, and I'm happy to have this discussion at the next level. So I don't mind pushing forward.
May I say something too? Okay, I just want to say to that point, Councilperson Ervin, that we also have the CFO on the Zoom call, as well as I have provided some numbers. If you have questions about what that would look, what any increase or any, options would look like, please contact me, and I can provide you the information, because it may sound vast, but it may not be, and also understand we're talking about one person, right, not a full, cadre of, or a department. So I can provide you whatever numbers you want to consider.
Sure. Okay.
That information was provided to us on June 1st.
Yeah,
Thank you very much. Councilperson Rome, do you have anything else that you want to add or ask for a motion?
I do agree that it all comes down to the budget. I mean, I shared that at the last meeting. I don't have a problem bringing this to the full council. We have the numbers in front of us, and with me, it's all about where are we going to get the money from? Where's it going to come from? How are we going to budget it? Same thing with the cars. We can figure out where the money's coming from. I have no problems doing it.
Agreed.
Thank you very much, Councilperson Rome. Thank you very much, Councilperson Ervin, or I should say thank you very much, Vice Chair Rome. I apologize for that. Do I have a motion right now? Does anybody else have anything that they want to add? Madam Manager, Chief Magnuson, Mr. Attorney, Madam Clerk, Councilperson Perella, Madam Mayor. Anybody else have anything they want to say? Mr. CFO? Anybody from the audience? I see no hands up. Do I have a motion to move the manager pay adjustment item to the full council?
I'll motion to move this item to the full council.
Motion by Councilperson Ervin. Do I have a second?
I'll second with discussion.
Second with discussion. Go ahead.
So as I mentioned, we received the information on June 1st. I don't think this needs to be workshopped in terms of fully at the full council, because that is going to be, this is a long discussion. So if we're moving this to the council, just like we would move anything else, it should be with a recommendation.
But with the percentage you're saying?
That is correct.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. That's the way I wanted to move it. I was just trying to find a middle ground because I was, since Councilperson Perrella and Mayor Cabillos have not seen the evaluation, and they might, have the evaluation as part of what they feel like the percentage should be. That's the only reason why I wasn't going to attach a percentage to it. But in my opinion, it should be 5%, in my opinion, if we were going to move it with that. Now, we can keep the same motion on the table. I understand what you're saying, Councilperson Roman. We could keep the same motion on the table, or we can withdraw that motion and we can attach the percentage to it. Councilperson Urban, what do you think either way?
Well, I'm at 3%.
I think that I personally think we should move it to the full council as
So
is.
I do have a question.
Yes.
In that there's been 2 missed evaluations, there's 2 periods of that have been missed, 2 opportunities to have a raise. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so then are we accounting for that retroactively, or is this simply going forward?
I would think that this is moving forward.
Okay, then I could perhaps be moved off of 3%.
Councilperson Roman, would you not motion if it did not have a percentage attached to it?
That is correct.
Okay. So I would say, do I have a motion to move the manager pay adjustment item to the full council with a 5% increase? Do I have a motion for that?
A motion to move it to the council with 5%.
I have a motion by Councilperson Roman to move it to the full council with a 5% increase. Do I have a second? Remember,
We'll have that discussion when we get there. I'll second.
a second by Councilperson Urban. I have a motion by Vice Chair Roman. Madam Clerk, may I please have roll call?
Roll call. Member Urban,
Yes.
Vice Chair Roman,
Yes.
Chair Nickerson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. Everybody who's watching this, keep in mind, this will go to the full council. At the full council, that percentage can be adjusted. So, all right. And we will get those evaluations out to Councilperson Perrella and the mayor as soon as possible. Thank you very much for that. Moving on to the next item, Madam Manager, any village administration updates that you may have for us?
Yes, I want to just update you quickly that the administration is going back into staggered work schedules. We've had some staffers have some medical issues and test positive with COVID-19. So we're going back to staggered work schedules. We're still very effective with our online and making appointments. People are working from home. We're able to do that technically, so we will push forward with that. Also, I wanted to just update our community and say thank you for everyone really following the CDC guidelines and the executive order from the county, in that we aren't in a position where we need to cite residents about the face coverings. That is key to getting us through this this virus, and so I'm happy to see that our villagers are abiding by those regulations and are taking it in stride. So we are in good stead in that respect. Another item I want to mention too is that we have a solid waste RFP request for proposals out. I released that yesterday. It is so that we can get a new contract for our solid waste removal. It is online. It was also advertised in the Daily Business Review. And this will affect our non-ad valorem fees for residents. I expect that it will be higher than it has been in the past under the current contract we have with Waste Management. Fees were low, and Waste Management reached out to me and said they just could not go another year like this. So they are requesting, they may also provide a proposal in this round as well, but that they wanted to end the contract with the Village of El Portal effective September of 2020. So we will cap the proposals on the 7th of August, and I will conduct a review with a group that I hope will be, I haven't put this out here to everybody yet, but I would like maybe the Resiliency Task Force or some members of the Resiliency Task Force to review the proposals with me, and we'll make a selection and present that to the full Village Council to make the selection for the new solid waste contractor. And that's it in terms of those announcements.
Thank you very much, Madam Manager. Councilperson Erb, I see your hands up. You want to go ahead and jump right back in?
Yes. Regarding employees testing positive, does the village put out any notifications at any point that we've had staff test positive, or do we know how many people within the village? Do we have our own numbers within the village regarding positive cases?
Well, in terms of our residents, no, we would not know that. They would not report that to us. And in terms of our staff, we aren't notifying the public about that. There are HIPAA laws that we have to maintain too, and this is their privacy, but we are alerting internally about this. You know,
Okay.
We're wearing masks, and we do follow a strict protocol of we are cleaning every hour. We are disinfecting. We are going to now do a deep clean every once a month. We've already done 3 so far, the deep bio cleaning. So we just had one about 2 weeks ago, and we'll prepare for our next one. But because we are a police station, we do have staff, you know, that's not there every single day. So some staff, so we've had a little change, but we're being very, very careful. And we've also discouraged just visiting, you know, we all work together. We have to email and call. We just won't be visiting and chatting. And, you know, we want a very pleasant work environment, but we want everybody to be healthy. So everybody on staff is aware, and I have let council members know as well about that.
And then if it's possible without violating any HIPAA laws, is everybody okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Everybody's okay.
All right.
Thank you very much, Councilperson Erb. Councilperson Roman, you have any? You're good. Anybody from the audience has any questions or comments about the village administration updates? Chief Magnuson, you good? Mr. Attorney, good? Madam Clerk, we're good? Councilperson Perrella, if you're there, Mayor Cabillos, if you guys have any questions or comments for the manager about the village administration updates, Mr. CFO, Mr. Wallace, seeing none. Thank you very much for that, Madam Manager. We appreciate the updates.
You're welcome.
Moving right on to the next item, you guys. This is the budget hearing dates. You guys know we have to choose the budget hearing dates. We usually choose those, what, the 2nd and 4th in September. Madam
Well,
Manager?
we do. We have 2 hearing dates that we have to abide by. They have to not interfere with the county or the school board's dates. So I do have those county dates as well as the school board dates. So we just can't choose those dates.
What are the county dates?
The county, the first date is September 3rd, and the second is September 17th.
And the school boards?
September 9th.
We can do the 8th because the 2nd Tuesday is usually what, the planning and zoning meeting?
No,
The second Tuesday is usually the planning and zoning meeting, correct?
that's true.
We can piggyback on that meeting. That would be 9/8. And then And we can do the other one the day of the regular council meeting, 9/22.
The 20, let me ask the clerk. Clerk, do we have to have it after or before? Are there some requirements about the in-between the county's meeting?
You can have it, usually goes before the meeting.
Okay, so we can do the 8th and then the,
No, I mean hour. You mean the time or what are we talking about?
no, I mean the date. Like, I know that if we have the counties on the 3rd and the 17th, do we have to be in between that? Like, it can't be,
No, it's after. You can't have it on their dates.
no, I know, but it has to be like the 8th and the 22nd. Go ahead, Vice Chair.
Meeting after the county and school board are done with their budget meetings, or do we have to have it in between, like before they're finished with their last budget meeting? Can we have ours after their last budget meeting, or does it have to be before their last
That
budget
would
meeting?
be more of a question for the attorney because that's legal.
I'd have to research that.
You
I
have to
don't
look
know
at the,
off the top
you
of my
probably
head.
have to look at the
Yeah.
numbers
Yeah.
and the law. That's
Yeah.
legal.
I mean, I would expect that you'd want to have it afterwards because you'd have an understanding of what the budget coming out of the school board and the county would be. But, to give you a direct answer, I don't know. I'll have to find out.
So maybe the 22nd and the 29th, if it has to be after.
And almost roll, remember, you have to
It's
advertise
usually-
that trim. You
Yeah,
have to advertise the trim too.
yeah, usually you want your second one to always be after the school board and the county, but I don't know if there's a mandate that it has to be in between.
Well, we'll get the answers.
Yeah, we need to get that first. So why don't we choose the budget hearing dates? After the attorney, you can get that the answer for us before next week's.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And then, so we'll choose the first and budget hearing dates at the full council meeting. We can just
Well, are you looking to do the second one before or after the county and the school board's meeting?
to do the second one after every, like theirs are over.
Right,
The last
so
one for them is the 17th, I was looking at the 22nd.
their last is on the, what date is this?
17th,
On the 17th. Okay, so
second holiday,
right. Ours would be on the 21st.
or 22nd.
9/8, which is the county's first one is 9/3,
Mhm.
but the school board is 9/9.
Right.
We can do 9/15, 9/22. Is that enough time to have 1 week after the other? My initial, Mr. Attorney, was 9/8, 9/22. That was my initial suggestion, 9/8, 9/22.
Right, like I said, I'll get with the finance department of the county, but, customarily you'd want your second meeting to be after the school board and the county is finished.
I remember in the past, the way we would just do it, and this is good that you're doing this for us. I really appreciate that. Because in the past, I remember we would just say, as long as it wasn't on the dates.
Right.
We would just do it as long as it wasn't on the dates. And I think we would just go from there, but we didn't get as particular as, if before or after theirs was over or whatever. But it's good to know that just legally where we stand with that. So
I've never been asked that question, so I don't have an answer, but I'll get the answer and I'll email everyone tomorrow.
Appreciate that, Mr. Attorney. What my suggestion is, you guys, is that we move this to the full council meeting. After he'll have that answer next week at the full council meeting, we'll be able to pick the dates depending on his answer at the full council meeting. Councilperson Urban, go ahead. The floor is yours.
Sure. I was just going to say that for me, it's not a problem that the first budget hearing would be before the school board meeting, because if there's anything of consequence or significance at the school board meeting, we'll still have an opportunity at the second budget hearing to discuss that. So I'm not as concerned to make sure they're both after that school board meeting. And the news will be telling us what's going to be discussed on the way into the school board meeting the day before, or we have ours anyway. So we'll have a pretty good idea heading in, I think. Any surprises we can deal with at that second meeting, I feel like.
Thank you very much, Councilperson Urban. Yeah, like I don't know if the CFO knows or not. I don't know if Chris Wallace, I don't know if he knows, he might have an idea, but
Give a chance.
I don't know if he's there. Yeah. I'm not sure.
You'll need to unmute yourself, Chris.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. Well, I'll get closer. So the dates of the school board meetings and the county commission are the 3rd, the 9th, and the 18th, as you noted. You also have a special assessment hearing that you'll have to conduct in addition to your trim notices, your budget hearing. You have to adopt an assessment for your solid waste. So, I mean, typically you try to not have a lot of special meetings. The trim meetings regarding the property tax and the budget have to be done Monday through Friday after 5 p.m. or Saturday anytime, but I don't, everyone's going like this. So I've never had a meeting on a Saturday in my life, but that is technically possible. Sunday is altogether out. It's also kind of up in the air as to whether at that point in time we're still going to be doing virtual meetings or not. I suspect we will, but you really don't know. But that doesn't have anything to do with the dates. And I don't know what to tell you about your dates. That's up to you guys. You just can't have them on the 3rd, the 9th, or the 18th of September.
Correct. Is it 17th or 18th?
It's the 17th. I called.
Was it the 17th?
It is.
Wow. And then I stand corrected, and we're using the wrong date
Thursday.
somewhere else.
Yeah.
All right. So if Christie has confirmed the 17th, then I go with the 17th. I'll have to go back and confirm that myself. We had a letter from the property appraiser's office earlier, but all right, 17th it is.
Also, point of clarity, I know that there is an item about trim on the full council agenda that's coming up in July. So I know we'll have to address that on that agenda too.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the practice is in the village. The statutes require the chief administrative officer, which you have is in the village manager, or the mayor, if it's a mayor form of government, which you don't have. They're technically the ones who set the millage rates and the date, places, and times of the public hearing. However, most people do that in conjunction with the elected body, so everyone's on the same page and no one's yelling at the other side. So it would be good to, you're going to have to do this by the end of the month for everything.
Chris, do we have to have our first budget hearing after the school board meeting? Because that's the.
No, you just can't have them. I think one of the school board meetings typically is in August, and you can't have it in August. The earliest I think you can have your meeting is the 3rd onto the trim calendar.
It would be the 4th.
The 4th?
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll work on getting the date solid, and then we can.
I think I'm looking at the wrong year, actually. I have my calendar up, but I don't know why it changed to 19. But you just can't, on the school board and county commission, you just cannot have your meetings on the same day as the school board or the county commission. That's the only prohibition you have on that. So they tend to set their meetings first, and then you're just stuck with what's left. And a lot of the communities have a large Jewish population. You'll find that the available dates because of Jewish holidays in September become very constrained. I don't know if that's an issue in your city. I don't suspect it is, but you can have them on holidays, but in some cities, they definitely do not want to have them on certain Jewish holidays.
Well, we have some dates we can work with, so we'll wait to hear just about whether we can have it before or after the school board's meeting on the 8th or the 15th. So
thank you very much, Mr. Wallace. Thank you, Madam Manager. I appreciate that. So, Mr. Attorney, if you can just get back to us about that. I'm looking at, or what I suggest is, if possible, for the first budget hearing, either 9/8 or 9/15. and for the second budget hearing, 9/22. And what I'm trying to do is piggyback on, I'm assuming it's gonna be Zoom on other meetings so that we don't have a whole new setup day and it's a whole new $500 and things like that. Yes, Mr. Wallace.
I did want to point out one important thing, and I think it'll be not an issue for you, but you have to adopt your special assessment by the 15th of September. You can't have that hearing after September 15th and put it on the property tax bill. I mean, if you wanted to bill and collect it yourself, which I wouldn't, advise, you can go later. But if you want to get it on the property tax bill, we have to have that special assessment hearing by September 15th.
Yeah, so either the 8th or the 15th, we'll do that.
Well, you could do the special assessment hearing on the 8th if you wanted to. You just can't go past the 15th on that date.
Hey, Chair, this is Mayor Cabillas. I'm going to chime in real quick just to help you out a bit. So the assessed and non-assessed is always done in July. It will be done in July. Historically, we've always done it. It's the best way to do it, simply because it really gives an opportunity for all of us to have real conversation with regards to the millage and if there's anything that we would like to see differently done with the millage. So the trim, the non-assessed, and non-ad-valorem, all of that will be done in July. It's what we traditionally have done, and it's what I was going to put on the agenda for July. As far as your second budget hearing, we've always done it at the September council meeting right before 6:30. We've had a second budget hearing, and that's always been ample time. So we must have it after the school board and after the county, and that always has given us sufficient notice. And then you just piggyback. It's a special, it's a second budget hearing at 6:30 right before the council meeting on the fourth Tuesday in September. So if that helps any, again, that's what's historically always been done in the village. As far as your first hearing, that's the one you can play around with a little bit, and clearly the budget would take priority any committee meeting that's going to be going on as needed for that month. So, and historically, we've also made it a habit just to do it after, as the CFO and the manager have said, you cannot do it the same day, but it's always been a good and best practice to do it after the county and school board meets both times.
Thank you, Mayor Cabillas. Yeah, which is why I chose the 22nd, which is our full council meeting. That's why I chose 9/22, 9/22. Councilperson Erbaum, then I'm going to Mr. Wallace.
So, am I a little bit crazy in thinking that was wildly inappropriate? And I shudder to think what would have happened if I had done that in a different meeting.
Well,
as a point of order, I'm in all sincerity, what would happen to me if I had done that in any other committee or any other meeting? I did not appreciate that at all.
Thank you, Councilperson Erbaum. I mean, I try, you guys, I can't control anybody else's meeting and the way they run their meetings or their committees, but everybody knows that here in my meetings that everybody, I try to give everybody an equal voice. As much as possible. You guys know how I am. That's just the way I am. Councilperson Erbaum?
We've had several discussions that were saying, hey, let's just have this discussion of full council. So do we have all 5 members here or not?
I hear what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. But this would be something that, and like I said, this would be something that I would open up to the audience and open up to other individuals also. But point taken, Councilperson Erbaum.
I'll drop it.
I'm not trying to get away from you or shun you or anything like that. I try to open up, just like, when I have my committee meetings and things like that, if Councilperson, Corella wants to speak, I try to allow him or anybody else to speak. That's why I usually try to go around the table and ask anybody if they have any thoughts. Where, in some other, meetings, some other committee meetings, they don't ask the clerk if she has anything to say. They don't ask the chief if he has anything to say. They don't ask the attorney if he has anything to say, or the manager if she has anything to say, or the CFO if he has anything to say. But I just run my meetings like that. Yes, Councilperson Erbaum, definitely.
I'm not trying to make a mountain out of a molehill.
I got you.
That's not my objective here. Okay. It's just, I'll just leave it at that. I shudder to think what would happen to me if I would ever do that in a meeting. So.
and like I say, it's not like I'm here trying to disagree with you or anything like that. I'm just trying to make the point that all I can control are my meetings, right? The meetings that I'm a chair of, I just know that, you know, I can just control it the way I can control it, right? That's all I can do. I appreciate that. Thank you very much, Councilperson Urban. Everybody's voice definitely is always respected in my meetings. Appreciate that, you guys. All right, so you guys, so we're gonna move this.
If I could just interrupt 1 second, because the question I'm being asked is becoming a little bit academic. If the committee wants to have the second budget hearing after the school board and the county has done their work, you all can set the date right now. I can still give you the legal answers to whether or not it's mandatory or not.
Okay, so you're saying we can set the dates right now, and then if it's not legal, we can change them later, which full council meetings, what you're saying?
Yeah.
That's the thing. When this first started, I said that I thought that the first budget hearing should be 9/8, the second one should be 9/22. The situation came about, though, is that the manager said, well, I just want to be clear if there's any type of legal parameters to where we have to have it within you know, the county or school board meeting or after. She was trying to look for a legal answer.
Right, and just to be clear, I'm not aware of any pronouncement that's other than you just can't have them on the same dates. But as the discussion went further, it sounded like, I believe the CFO said, and your discussion led to, it would make better sense to have the second meeting or budget hearing after the school board and the county is finished with their work. So given that fact, I don't see any reason why you all can't set the date if you choose to do that tonight, because it's going to be after the school board and the county finishes their process.
So dare I say, I make a motion to move this forward with the tentative dates of September 8th and September 22nd.
Yeah, thank you. Took the words right out of my breath.
I think that the manager was trying to be safe. She was trying to be safe and get an absolute.
That was a good question. It was a great question.
Yeah, only because the school board has the meeting on the 9th. So I didn't know if it had to be, our first meeting had to be after that. But
she was just trying.
As long as it's not on the same day, I think we'll just go with that.
She was trying to be better safe than sorry. We appreciate that, Madam Manager. We appreciate that. I have a motion, you guys, for the first budget hearing to be September the 8th and the second budget hearing to be September the 22nd to move to full, well, those are the dates to move to, do we have to move the full council to vote on that? Yes, no? Do we have to vote on that with all 5 members, correct? To move to full council. First budget hearing, September the 8th, second budget hearing, September the 22nd. We have a motion. Yes, Councilperson Urban.
Just tentatively.
Tentatively. We have a motion by Councilperson Urban. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second by Councilperson Roman. Madam Clerk, may I please have a roll call?
Roll call. Member Urban.
Yes.
Vice Chair Roman.
Yes.
Chair Nickerson.
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0.
Thank you very much. I hope everybody was good with that. Nobody had anything they wanted to say? Everybody good with that? Appreciate it, appreciate it. You guys, right now we're gonna move on to good and welfare. Good and welfare, if anybody has anything that they want to say about anything at all, it could be on this agenda, it could be anything in your mind, anything that you have on your mind for the day. Anybody in the audience wants to come up and talk about anything at all, this is your time to do so.
So this is Claudia Cabillos, 206 Northwest 91. And I'm elected by the people and I serve for the people. And when I have residents calling me, watching on Facebook, telling me that the committee does not know the dates and they need some assistance, my duty is to call in and answer any questions like I did to add value. See you all at the budget meeting.
Thank you very much, Mayor Cabillos. Let me just say, though, that whoever was watching this and saying that we didn't know what dates, the first dates I came up with was 9/8 and 9/22. As soon as this item came on, I said, I was thinking about you guys September the 8th and September the 22nd. So whoever's watching this on Facebook, I said those dates as soon as this agenda item came up. So whoever thinks that we didn't know the dates, I don't know what they were listening to or what they were watching, but that's exactly what I said as soon as this agenda item came up. I just don't want it to get out there that, Omar doesn't know what he's doing. Somebody's trying to paint it like that. That's absolutely not true. I said those 2 days as soon as this agenda item came up. And then the manager chimed in and said, well, I just want to say, are these the right dates? Can we do these dates legally? And then that's how we got into the date discussion. But as soon as this agenda item came up, I said, I suggest September the 8th and September the 22nd. When these minutes for this meeting come out, I advise everybody or suggest that you guys can go back and look at those minutes and read them, and you'll see that I said those 2 days as soon as the agenda item came up. Therefore, if you feel that in this committee that we didn't know what we were doing about the dates, that is unfortunately incorrect. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Anybody else from Good and Welfare, you guys? Hearing none. Do I have, before I get a motion to adjourn, Madam Manager, any last words, questions, comments? Councilperson Erbaum, any last words, questions, comments? Vice Chair Roman, any last words, questions, comments? You're good. Mr. Attorney, questions, comments? Chief Magnuson, very good. Questions, comments? Madam Clerk? We're good, Madam Clerk. All right, I'm seeing nobody else, and Mr. Wallace, I think, is about to come on, and we're going to get to the budget. Anybody else, Councilperson Perrella, Madam Mayor, any last questions, comments? All right, you guys. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Do I have a motion to adjourn the Administration and Finance Committee meeting for Tuesday, July 21st?
I'll motion to adjourn.
I have a motion from Councilperson Erbaum. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Have a second from Vice Chair Roman. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. The Administration and Finance Committee meeting for Tuesday, July 21st is adjourned at 7:55 p.m. Thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate that.